Hey, security researcher here once again. Today's talk is going to be kind of an expansion of the last talk, cell phone tracking explained in plain English. The link to that video is here. I know I said I was going to do a video on stingrays and MC catchers, but I've had a lot of questions since I did that last video, so that one's on the back burner. I am working on it, and I will get it done. So today we're going to talk about some of the things that the network can do as far as cell phones and cell phone surveillance and tracking is concerned. And then we're going to talk about some of the software packages and applications that you may have downloaded on your phone and what they can do. Please keep in mind this is not just a government thing. Sure, the government can do a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today, but my concern, at least as far as what I want to talk to you guys about, isn't about them. I'm not interested in picking a fight, but I am interested in enlightening you on the things that are possible through your technology so that we can stop this fifth grade mentality of, well, I don't care, or, well, I'm not doing anything wrong, so I don't have anything to worry about. These are childish ways to think about your technology, and if you've made those statements before, it's really because you don't understand what's possible, and nobody is making an effort to try and explain it to you. So I'm going to try to do that for you. A lot of this stuff is going to be used more and more in crimes because of the information that you're putting out there on social media. If someone were to go through your profile, they would see pictures of your wife in her gold jewelry. They would see pictures of your new car. They would see pictures of your firearms collection, of your precious metals, of your brand new appliances, of your TV set, of your children who also carry cell phones. And then once you combine all of that with cell phone tracking technology, you put all of that at risk. That being said, this information is not intended for the criminally minded. This really, truly is about education. You cannot make informed decisions if you don't understand what it is that you're trying to make a decision about. So please allow me to take 20 years of research experience, boil it down into plain English. I might be long-winded, but you will understand more about your technology by the time you're done watching all the videos that I intend on producing than pretty much anybody you know. So let's get into this video. We are going to cover kind of a Leave It to Beaver type family here to make it really simple and G-rated and non-controversial. So here we go. Welcome to sunny Glendale, Arizona. Population 235,000. Like most people in Glendale, Arizona, Bob has a cell phone. Bob also has a cell phone service provider. That service provider can see all of the phones in Bob's area. If one of those cell phones has a problem and they call in, that carrier can bring up the individual device, as well as information about that device, including the customer's name, phone number, device serial number, signal connection, connection quality, and various notes about the device and account. This type of account query can happen for every service provider. And if you happen to be a tier above the service providers, you can see every cell phone in real time. But let's talk about Bob and Bob's cell phone. Bob is a single dad. Bob has 2 kids, Tommy and Tina, both of which are currently visiting friends in other parts of town. It's about 107 degrees today in Glendale, so Bob decides to call Tommy and Tina and see if they'd be interested in going to Crowns and Coasters up by the mall. Bob first calls Tommy, then Tina, and they both agree to go. Since these devices can be tracked in real time, you could actually watch the progress of their journey. This could be because you're at the cellular service provider level, a tier above them, or someone has installed cell phone spyware or tracking technology onto the cell phones themselves. So you could literally watch this entire journey take place. Watch them park their cars, watch them get out of their cars, watch them enter the restaurant, wait to be seated, and be seated at the table. Now, Tina's like most teenagers. She likes to text a lot, and there's cameras on both sides of her phone. So when she first sits down, maybe that camera is pointed up the aisle of tables, or maybe it's pointed directly at Bob and Tommy. Now, if someone were monitoring all of these phones using cell phone spyware or other technology, They could activate Bob's phone, Tommy's phone, or Tina's phone to see which one had the best sound quality if they wanted to listen in to the conversation that was being had. They could also activate Bob's phone, Tommy's phone, or Tina's phone to see which one of them could see the most through their cameras. Now, since Bob's phone and Tommy's phone are in their pockets and the sound's kind of muffled, and Tina won't stop texting, they'll use Tina's phone to listen into that conversation. They could also, if they were tracking other phones in that restaurant, use other phones within that restaurant to see what those cameras and microphones could pick up. Now, if the people that were monitoring this conversation and the goings-on between Bob, Tommy, and Tina were actually robbing Bob's house, knowing that he was out and the kids were with him, they could see Bob, Tommy, and Tina get up from the table, pay the bill, get back into their cars, and drive back to their respective locations. They would know how much time they have and how far away from the house they actually are. That's the basics of how far this technology can actually go, and it doesn't require a lot of high-tech skill to do it. Just a credit card and a couple of minutes with a search engine, and you too can have access to this technology. It's called cell phone spyware, and that's not the only way that it can be done. So think about that the next time you meet up with your friends or your family, or you go to any sort of a public gathering or any sort of a meeting, whether it's business or personal. You have a device on you that can track everywhere you go and can be used to monitor every conversation you had and use for video surveillance in the surrounding environment. Now, you might think that's crazy and that no one would actually do such a thing, but there's a reason that I picked this part of Arizona. In a neighboring suburb of Glendale called Scottsdale, Arizona, you could find this piece of shit. His name is Andre Ledeve. In late 2009, Andre Ledeve had been going through a divorce with his wife, tracked her every movement via cell phone, found out that she had moved on and started seeing another guy. So he went home and shot his 2-year-old and 5-year-old before turning the gun on himself. He failed to kill himself and is currently sitting on death row. And that's not the only time that this has happened and it's been published in the news. In 2010, James Harrison, a resident of a Seattle suburb, did the exact same thing to his wife. When he found her with another man, using his daughter's assistance to locate her, he went home with his daughter, shot his daughter, and his 4 other kids before turning the gun on himself and successfully killing himself. 7 kids, 1 adult, and you don't hear anything about it in the news because nobody wants you to treat your cell phones as anything other than a trusted member of the family. Think about that. If you found value in this information, please hit the subscribe button, share this video with your friends and family. Stay tuned because there is more fun to come. I am Security Researcher, and I appreciate the last 8 minutes and 27 seconds of your life.